I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Hello, this is Ken. I like making things. I like making things out of paper, and I like making things cooler. Especially my figures. Sometimes figures don't look all that screen accurate. All they need is a bit of touch up here and there to unleash their hidden potential. I also love using everyday tools and materials to recreate iconic scenes from my figures, so they can shine on my display. Subscribe to my channel and join my DIY adventure as I ask myself the same question every week. Can I make it? Last week, I worked on Andrew's Spider-Man figure, brightening up the red a bit and darkening the blue so it matches his No Way Home look. Check it out if you're interested. Today, I'm going to work on the highly requested Tobey Spider-Man figure. I have to be honest, this figure is quite disappointing. It's definitely the weakest one of the 3-pack. Colors I can fix or adjust, but it's the proportions that throwing things off. He has this generic action figure look to him. It's more evident when he's standing next to the other Spider-Man. He's got a long torso, and his limbs are a bit on the short side, making him appear short and kinda stubby. Before I deconstruct, I actually own this Ultimate 18-inch superposable Spider-Man figure. Fun story, I got this giant figure at the Canadian Superstore of all places. I was grocery shopping with my mom. I couldn't afford this figure, so I told my mom I needed it to help with 3D animation. My excuse worked, and my mom got the figure. I didn't really use it for my animations, as the figure was a bit too heavy to balance. But years later, when I got the job as a photographer, I had to come up with poses to do on people, and I needed a model to practice on. Guess who was my model? These photos were taken in 2013. And look at me now, taking photos of my figures a decade later. This is kind of a full circle moment for me. Okay, back to this new Spider-Man figure. Let's deconstruct this figure. There's an FAQ on the paint and brushes I use in the description box below. The main issue of this figure is how bright he is. The red on Andrew's Spider-Man's is a bit too dark, and the red on Tobey's is a bit too bright and orange. In the movie, the red on Andrew and Tobey's suits are very similar, so I gotta cool down and deepen the red a bit. The blue on Tobey's suit is also much more muted and dark. As a trio, these three just don't look cohesive. The other thing that I don't love are his arms. They are tube-shaped, and there's no definition. The same can be said about the torso too. It's a bit too flat in my opinion. I can't really fix the shape or the silhouette of the figure, but I can fix the colors. I want the 3 Spider-Men to end up with similar color palettes. So, can I make it? I'm gonna work on the red first. It took multiple attempts to brighten up Andrew's red because it's generally more difficult to lift colors with thin coats of paint. I also didn't want to lose the web line details. But this time it should be easier. The web lines are more pronounced, so I'm not as worried about losing them. To deepen the red, I'm gonna mix a bit of purple and red. And to make the paint a bit more sheer, I'm gonna mix in a bit of matte medium as well. Let's do a quick test on the boots. It's not making a difference. I'm gonna wipe it off and try again. Alright, this time I'm gonna mix red and blue instead. Blue is more cool toned than purple, so it should have more of an effect on the red. And adding the matte medium again so the paint stays sheer. Let's do a test again. Ooh, it's toning down the orangeness, and it's still pretty natural looking. I think this will work, but I won't really know until later. My eyes are not accustomed to the orange red, so it's gonna take a little while for my eyes to adjust to the darker red. Oh, okay. Now that the torso is painted, it's starting to look more natural. It's pretty close to the red I want, but I want it a bit more vibrant. So let me rub a bit of red onto it to see if I can make the color pop a bit more. Toby's suit also has these shaded areas to help define the muscles. I'm gonna add a bit of the darker paint to emphasize those muscles a bit. Just a bit under the chest and a bit on the abs. Okay, I'm liking this. I'm gonna leave the red alone for now and work on the blue. I'm going for a muted dark blue color. His suit is pretty red and black in Spider-Man 3, but in No Way Home, it's more of a dark blue. The colors are starting to look right. It's a bit on the dark side though. I kinda wanna see if I can brighten up the red even more, but I don't wanna ruin my progress, so I'm gonna apply a thin coat of glossy varnish over the red to seal the paint, and add a bit of shine to the red. Alright, let's see if I can make the red a bit more intense. Shouldn't have done that. Now the web lines are disappearing. Might as well fix the web lines too. I think pure silver would be too intense. A darker gunmetal color would be better. Let's see. Let me do half the suit to see if it looks good. Oh, the details are popping. Here's half the suit with painted web lines. I'm gonna do the other half off camera and show you the final result. Alright, here's the finished figure. The colors have totally changed. Maybe the red can be a notch brighter. Otherwise, I think I kinda nailed the red and blue. Let's take a closer look. Oh wow, the nostalgia is hitting me. It's like 2004 all over again. He looks just like his movie self. But how does he look now with the other two customs? Here's Tom Spider-Man. Nice. And here's Andrew Spider-Man. And finally Toby Spider-Man. What do you think? Not too bad, right? Let me rearrange them and compare them to this iconic image. Not a perfect match, but definitely much better than before. Overall, I still think this figure is a bit of a disappointment. There's just something off about the proportions. Is it the arms? The head? Or is it the torso? Maybe it's the legs too. It's like each body part could be slightly better proportionally. When it comes to posing, Andrew Spider-Man takes the cake. That figure is super easy and fun to pose. But Toby is much stiffer. Not just the joints, but how the poses look too. Paint-wise, I think my paintwork was pretty clean. The shading on the chest and abdomen was tough to do due to the web lines. But I like that they're obvious but also blended out nicely. Okay, photo shoot time. This may be the weakest figure of the trio, but I'm glad I finally have a regular sized Toby Spider-Man figure. His range of motion seems a bit more limited, but he can still pull off some pretty neat poses. Oh, he looks much better up close when you can't see his feet, so maybe it's the legs that's throwing this figure off. These photos here totally remind me of Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movies. Alright, let's bring in the other Spider-Man. Here's Peter 2 and Peter 3. I like that the colors are much more similar now, yet still different enough to be unique. And here are all three Spider-Man. Give it a like if you enjoyed today's video. Subscribe to my channel because I'm gonna build them a display soon. But I won't be recreating that iconic scene on the box art, because the figures won't be able to stay upright. But I do have another idea in mind. I just need to think about it more and get inspired. And you too. Stay inspired, and I'll see you next week. I can make it, so can you.